Fox News alert, you're looking at a live shot of Palm Beach International Airport, where former President Trump's motorcade is waiting to take him to Mar-a-Lago, where he's going to be addressing the nation later this evening. Earlier today, for the third time, Democrats are trying to take away your right to vote for a Republican. First, they impeached Trump during an election year. They wanted to invoke the 25th Amendment, kick him out of office for not being mentally fit. And now they're trying to put him in prison before an election. For people who claim they care about voting rights, they're nuking them. There's nothing more undemocratic than putting your political opponent in prison. The American people voted to put Trump in power. Then they voted to take that power away. And that's how things work in America. Now that Trump's running again, a filthy DA is assassinating your right to vote. What's the crime? Well, the indictment says Trump made a false entry in the general ledger. Lock him up. He made a false entry in the ledger. Alvin Bragg will not stand for false entries in ledgers.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
Cold cock an Asian lady? Not serious. Push a mom into subway tracks? Not serious. Make the wrong entry in the general ledger? Serious criminal conduct. But the thousands of businesses that put things in the wrong ledger, don't they have to worry? No. Why? Well, because their owners aren't running for president. And how's Trump going to get a fair trial in New York? How are you going to pick a jury? How many jurors have no opinion on Donald Trump and can swear they won't be biased? Who's the jury foreman? Rachel Maddow. Bragg doesn't even understand this case. He can't even explain it. Bragg says Trump broke an election law, but he didn't even put the election law he supposedly broke in the indictment.
The indictment says that there were 34 false business records. And they were done to conceal another crime, but the indictment does not specifically say what those crimes were. We are assuming, perhaps, that they might be election-related. I'm wondering if you can specify what laws were also broken.
Sure. So let me say as an initial matter that the indictment doesn't specify that because the law does not so require.
You're charging a president, and you don't put the charge in the indictment because you don't have to? You have to be kidding me. How did Trump break an election law?
The first is New York state election law, which makes it a crime to conspire to promote a candidacy by unlawful means. I further indicated a number of unlawful means, including more additional false statements, including statements that were planned to be made to tax authorities. I also noted the federal election law cap on contribution limits.
Does anybody understand what Bragg is saying? Does anybody? Trump didn't bribe anybody, didn't kill anybody, didn't plant listening devices at Chappaqua. Bragg's got nothing. So he brings the most convoluted case ever. Now, if you're charging a president, it's got to be airtight. All Trump did was have his lawyer pay a woman who was extorting him in order to protect his family. Well, Bragg calls that catch and kill.
Donald Trump, executives at the publishing company American Media Incorporated, Mr. Cohen, and others agreed in 2015 to a catch and kill scheme. That is a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election.
So you can silence an extortionist to protect your family, but if you get extorted before an election, it's illegal to do that. If that's catch and kill, then that's what the media does with Democrats every day. The media kills bad stories for Democrats before elections all the time and gets paid back with access and interviews and ratings, cash. So big tech catches the Hunter laptop story and kills it to help the Biden campaign. That's not illegal. How much was that worth? What ledger did Biden put that in? 50 CIA guys say the laptop's fake so Biden gets elected and they get fat federal contracts? Catch and kill. What do you think this is?
Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the insufficiency of this case. And I will say this to you. Today's unsealing of this indictment shows that the rule of law died in this country. Because while everyone is not above the law, no one's below it either. And if this man's name was not Donald J. Trump, there is no scenario we'd all be here today. Please understand that based on these charges. A state prosecutor is prosecuting a federal election law violation that doesn't exist according to federal election law officials. It's as simple as that. That you can sum it all up like that.
Remember in 2015, Hillary's running for president? ABC News catches and kills the Epstein story to help crooked. Remember Amy Roback on the hot mic says we had the goods on Epstein and Bill Clinton, but we had to kill it. What was that? So this entire case is a sham. The only people more clueless than Bragg are his supporters.
What's going on here today?
Well, we're witnessing a small measure of accountability for the worst president in American history.
What crimes did Donald Trump commit to get him here today?
All of them.
What specifically did he commit today? What crime did Donald Trump commit to get him here today?
We don't know.
You don't know?
We do not know.
As far as my knowledge, he paid someone money to hush money.
Yeah. And which law did that break?
I don't want to say.
That is not the only law. Actually,
Hush money is not a law.
No, but it's what represents the law.
He didn't pay for it with campaign funds.
Alvin Bragg is going to try to make it a campaign finance violation. I mean,
He's cooking something up, right?
Of course he paid with campaign finance funds.
How do you know?
Because he's cheap.
What crimes did Donald Trump commit to land him here today?
So this is related to the falsification of business records, it being a campaign expense.
But he didn't pay with campaign money.
The felony is related to the fact that these business expenses were falsified. What's the felony that he's being charged with exactly, actually?
Question
You like
for you.
Alvin Bragg?
I don't even know who he is.
You don't know who Alvin Bragg is?
I don't know anything about him.
It is a big task to indict a former sitting president, and this is a court that does their due diligence.
What about the 52% of felonies that he downgraded to misdemeanors? Of violent crimes?
Can I just say something?
Wait, yes, you can after.
I'll let you.
His lawyers already been proven guilty. It actually was covering up for him.
You think so?
Yes.
Where's the proof?
The proof is in the pudding.
You know who the victim of this crime is?
Us.
How were you personally victimized?
Well, we didn't get to. We have a.
When there's a crime, there's a victim. Who's the victim in this case?
Who's the victim? Man, come on, man.
Who's the victim?
Come on, dude.
Do you think he's guilty?
I do think he's guilty
Of what crime?
of lying.
What did he lie about?
Everything.
But what did he lie about to get him here today?
The thing that got him here today.
And that was?
Obviously, I don't know.
It's pretty obvious. This is such a hit job. Democrats, they crossed the line. They know it. And now the White House is in hiding.
As a lawyer, is he concerned at all that a local DA indicting a former president could, down the line, open up the possibility, set the precedent, that local DAs that don't like former President Biden could indict him?
I'm not going to comment from here.
So Binder's got to know what happens next. We're out for revenge now. And they're not going to get away with this. Paul Sperry wrote a great piece in the Post today. It's open season on Democrats. Republican DAs and prosecutors now have the green light to take down top Democrats. Here's the difference. We don't have to trump up charges. Their crimes are clear. Biden's brother, Jimmy the Chin, he's been accused of defrauding healthcare companies in Florida, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Alabama. It's a crime spree. Sounds like it's time for 4 grand juries. It's time for Republican AGs and Republican prosecutors in these states to open up investigations. How has Jimmy the Chin not already been indicted? He's a hot mess. And then you have the Clintons in Arkansas. That's the mother lode. The Clinton Foundation has offices in Little Rock. That thing's one big graft machine. Can a Republican DA in Arkansas look into Crooked's books? The foundation's an international conspiracy and money laundering op. Why can't the Clintons get fingerprinted? Are all their ledgers clean? And that's just local. Once Republicans take back the White House, are you ready? The president could sick the SEC on Nancy. Pelosi's been insider trading for decades, right in our face. And then you move on Hunter, interstate sex trafficking, the missing Chinese diamond, tax evasion. Follow the money because it leads to the big guy. You don't think Trump's going to indict Joe Biden when he gets back into the White House? The Democrats asked for this, and now they're going to get it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.